Hello. All right. Well, you may have heard I'm with two dogs, and they've been pretty quiet. And then this second I push record, a bark, and now whatever this is. So I'm sure that will weave itself into the energy throughout the transmission. Okay, so I just sat down. I've been having like a little bit of a goldfish day. You know, they say goldfish don't have a long attention span. I rarely speak about goldfish, so I don't know, that could have some significance for someone. But when I recorded yesterday, I've recorded quite a few times in the last few days after taking a little bit of a hiatus, and I haven't posted anything. And I'm like, I am not recording again until I post. But of course, I felt the pull. And so here I am doing exactly what I said I would not do. Okay. Where do I start with this? So my throat, by the way, the last few days has been extremely, I mentioned this in one of the last recordings I haven't posted yet. Of course, and when you're hearing this, I may have already posted the other transmissions, but I'm being shown like a golf ball, and then like a sponge and the ocean. But yeah, it's like pieces of hardened residue are like coming off, and I feel it so much in the throat. I'm just sitting with that for a moment. I also was feeling, how do I describe this? Like these very etheric plasma field visits, these beings that were coming through that feel like aspects of perhaps like the Mer lineages, and then it was a very feminine presence, and then she like shapeshifted into, so the star Regulus has been coming through, and this phrase like royal bloodline. I don't love to tap into some of these like, you know, the idea of like a royal bloodline. I don't know, it just sometimes it feels a little like elitist or something, but that's what I was getting. So so like this lioness being, I don't know if Regulus is connected to the lion beings or like feline beings actually, but that's what I'm like, that's what was coming through. I just got really, really hot in my chest. Lloyd. Like really hot in my chest. And I feel like there's these like dimensional string vibrations like pulling through the back of the heart. The spine, like it feels like there's this slight, I keep getting the word effervescence, and I was hearing effervescence in the last transmission, and I didn't say it out loud, and I'm hearing it again. I actually just poured myself a little celebratory glass of wine, and I was like cheersing myself and just like, I guess you could say the plasma beings that I was feeling. Sometimes I do that. Like I used to pour a little cup for them actually and like leave it on my altar. I just don't have an altar anymore. I don't know. Maybe some of you do that. I forgot about that. But yeah, like whatever I was drinking, I would like leave some for them. I'm also getting the Fae are coming through. I wasn't even planning to talk about the beings yet, but they're coming through so strongly. Okay, I'm going to pivot for a moment. What really inspired this particular transmission, I had deja vu, which I get quite often, but I just got it maybe like within the last hour, and I was reminded of something. So I've probably spoken of this in different transmissions, but I kept, I'll say maybe in like 2019, 2020, 2021, like those few years, I was really, really mirror scrying, like a lot. And this version of myself would appear, and I knew it was a future version. That I knew. I just knew that. I didn't know what year or when, but like she would emerge through, and I would just see her. And the first time, I'm saying her as if, you know what I mean, but the first time I connected with this aspect of myself, or this version of myself, I think was in 2019. Yeah, it was. And I lived in Philly still, in a little neighborhood called Brewery Town. I don't know why I felt the need to say the name of the town, of the area. And I had my own place, and I was meditating a lot. And I remember I was sitting down, and I just felt this lightness come over me. Like I just felt so light, and something told me, go look in the mirror. And like that was the first time I saw her like really come through in the mirror, and like I could feel it. Like I was like almost taken. You know when people talk about like in movies like time travel, this was like they're showing me the phrase like dimensional hop. I like hopped into the future for a minute, and I could feel it in my physical body, and then I came back, and then that sort of marked the visits would continue, like keep going, like keep going, you know. And there were significant markers that I saw from this version of myself that I guess would let me know, like, okay, this is, here, we've arrived, you know. Anyway, so today, after a few different, I'm just clearing through the throat, excuse me. A few different conversations. I do speak about this in the last two transmissions chronologically. I haven't even named them yet. It will probably be something connected to the Cygnus Swan constellation, but not 100%, but it will be like behind, you know, in date, chronological, like linear, right before this, about how we essentially like, I'm gonna just make sure I'm getting this in the way I want it to come out. Yeah, essentially, like I was talking about stepping onto the last however so many years. A lot of us have been cultivating what I call the highest divine timeline. I've heard some people, like I've mentioned before, call it like the golden timeline. I think I've heard Egyptian timeline. I've heard different phrasing. But yeah. And sometimes those phrases will come through, but for me, I always just say like the highest divine timeline. Anyway, so today I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I was like almost the image that I kept being shown for the last multiple years. And I had a dream recently, and that version also came through my dream, and she was just smiling at me. She didn't say anything, she was just smiling. And this was like in the last week or two. And I haven't had my hair professionally done in a few years, like in a salon, probably since like 2022. And I'm recording this December of 2025. And I just like got this like intuitive feeling, like I don't know why, I just need to go get my hair done. Like makes no sense, but I almost canceled actually. Hold on, I have a missed call from, I have to pause for a moment. So I unpaused and started recording for approximately 2 minutes, and then the approximately 2 minutes got deleted, but I went to pause again, and it was 15:55 on the timer. And then when I looked a second later, it went backwards to like 13 minutes. So that I went to replay it, and yeah, like 2+ minutes were deleted. I have been having so many audio and software crashing issues, and I was speaking about this in one of the last transmissions, and the word debugging kept coming through. You know, like when you debug software, like quality control, QCing. So the fact that it like deleted at 15:55, I don't know, it feels significant in some way, right? It's like these big changes are coming in, and I was just speaking about that in the 2 minutes that got deleted. And it's like quick redirection. Like I was talking about that tower moment just sort of coming in, and then it's like boom, boom, boom. Right? Like not getting too attached to anything right now, but holding that bigger vision, redirection, you know, all the things people say, have faith of a mustard seed, trust, like that whole thing. But I don't mean to diminish that. I'm more just like, just sort of making light of this because I know it can get very like a little intense. But of course, like feeling the fulling, oh my God, feeling the fullness of the intensity is important, but also not, you know, maybe not dwelling in it for too long. Of course, who's to say what's too long? I guess what I mean is like dealing with it and then doing your best to continue like moving forward and letting it go if that feels good to you. That's sort of what's been coming through. And in the 2+ minutes that got deleted, I was speaking about so there was this transmission, New Jupiter, that I did about 6 months ago-ish, within the last 6 to 8 months, maybe a little longer, which actually speaks on like future aspects. So of course, from a linear perspective, we have like a past, present, future. And I realized I was speaking on this like future version of ourselves coming forth with, you know, like cosmic breadcrumbs. And so some of you may feel called to that New Jupiter transmission. I think you can just like search and it should come up in my list if you feel so called. Also, I spoke in multiple transmissions about a Ferris wheel dream. And every time I see the symbolism of wheels and Ferris wheel come through, it's like another layer of that is revealed. And it was a lot of, also the Empress and the number 3 in tarot have been coming through so strongly. The Wheel of Fortune, 1010. And Justice has been coming through as well. Yeah, so it's like staying in integrity. There's some kind of like truth. Like staying in your own truth is turning that wheel, even if it may not look like it all the time. And it feels like that wheel just turned again. Hence those like fast movement and fast changes. And if you are not experiencing this, it may be coming in quite soon for you. Also, thank you for reminding me. I just was speaking also on being grateful for having this time today to like introspect a bit and reflect, because this song, I believe it's Dua Lipa, New Rules, and there's a specific part, I finally see the pattern, and that came through from my friend like a few weeks ago, and now it's coming through collectively. I may have talked about it in a different transmission, I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, there's something about, you know, that saying, different face, same person. That's been coming up a lot. So, you know, any area or multiple areas of life, depending for each of you. For me, it's definitely highlighting in my finances and career sector, where I feel like I keep meeting same person, different face. And today, multiple internal feelings started to show up externally, where I kept hearing the same message throughout the day of like going through these experiences, like recognizing this pattern. Like I had recognized this pattern before. So I was already aware of this. Maybe you have too. But it was like there was still something that needed to play out, and I was just kind of honoring the timing in in some way. And I just talked about this in a dream, I'm realizing, in one of the last transmissions about the under earth or middle earth dream. So if you heard that, you might know what I'm talking about. And I'm kind of seeing the connection at this point. But yeah, and a few people were talking about how when you recognize like a seed that's planted in those moments of like conflict or adversity or just like whatever that pattern is for you or multiple patterns. And something that always comes through when experience was going on. Honestly, now it's like, it goes back even way further than I realized now that I'm thinking about it. It started a long time ago. And again, it always comes forth for me in like career or like potential business partners or people that I'm working with or have worked for. And I always get the same message, like be the leader you wish you had. So you may be going through this as well in some fashion. And it feels like again, I'm seeing that wheel turning. So yeah, there's something about taking the time again to like process any emotional connection that's coming up or emotional, I didn't mean to say connection. Interesting. Any emotions that come through. And I don't know if this part made it on the audio, but I was talking about allowing to feel and then just sort of letting it go and detaching and processing it out. Of course, use your own discernment of your own process, but there's something about honoring it, reflecting, but then also like moving forward. Because my eye has been twitching for multiple days. Yeah, it feels like there's I want to say there's the next phase. I hear people say this, like, oh, the next phase is just waiting for you, like as if you're doing something wrong and not taking advantage of this phase. I don't feel that. Like when I hear people say that, I'm like, maybe for some people, and maybe that does happen, but this feels like there's been like a grand design, and those of us like the new Jupiter energy I was talking about, who sort of click into that and kind of see it from the bigger picture perspective. Like sometimes it's just a matter of showing up, doing your best, and like trusting the process. And that's kind of what I'm getting. So like that's why it's important to keep like your integration phases to however like feels good to you and things like that, because it doesn't feel like you made any like quote wrong turns. Like I feel like you were listening to your guidance, and it may look a little crazy or insane to like the external world, who's like, why would someone think they need to experience this or choose this? But there's like, again, that layering, there's multiple layers to this. So it feels like there was, because every experience that I've been talking about, I was very guided into, like I felt like I needed to experience this for some reason. And then right when they were about to end, I also felt that coming too. So yeah, this could be something that's coming up for you. And if you're like, what are you talking about? Then that's totally okay. This might just not be for you or not right now, but I feel like if you feel it, if you're experiencing this, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And in my particular case, the word assertiveness and confidence have been like two big themes for me, like really honing in on those aspects of myself. So whether that's similar for you and or there may be like other themes. Like I just heard in my head someone say peace and love, and then I heard tranquility and serenity. But then I also feel like there's parts that are like almost like adrenaline junkie. Not that I support anyone doing something that is, what I mean by that is like getting, more out of your comfort zone and more adventurous. And for some of you, it may be the opposite, where you're always floating and you're like, oh, maybe it's time to put down some roots. Like there could be these different aspects coming through. Continuing the theme with audio interference. I'm not even sure how to explain this, but I recorded like in piecemeal for this transmission. This happens a lot. These two dogs I'm with have not been barking much, and then when I go to push record, there's a lot happening all of a sudden. Bells are ringing, dogs are barking. Isn't there like a Christmas song that's kind of like, I don't know, there's one that's popping in my head that reminds me of that sort of like, is it Bells Will Be Ringing? Yeah, it is close to Christmas time, so Christmas music. Anyway, so I had like 3 or 4 parts to this transmission, and I was uploading them so I could see them like all together before I continued the last leg of this transmission, because I started recording this yesterday, which again has been another theme that I've been picking up on since after my hiatus. And I love taking a break from YouTube for a few weeks. And like one of the parts, so the second part, it was like 9 minutes long, I think, would not upload. Like it just wouldn't upload. And then when I was trying to look at my options on the audio app on my phone, it just deleted. So I guess it wasn't meant to be part of this. And what's crazy is the part before and the part after like synced up perfectly, as if it was planned that way. I don't know. A lot of like things like this are happening, so you may be having some experiences like that too. And now my top of my forehead, particularly on the right side, like right where the hairline meets, just started tingling like crazy. So yeah, I wanted to also tap it a little bit to a little bit of the I guess ascension mechanics to auric layering, that phrase that's been coming through, which is what I'll probably be calling this transmission. And I did feel guided to use a little bit from the Ascension Glossary, and I know there's a lot of controversy around the Ascension Glossary, and I use it with discernment. So if that isn't something that feels good to you, like I completely understand. Yeah. So dimensions have also, for some reason that came up when I did a search for auric layering. And just a quick little read. Dimensions are fixed groupings of energy within specific geometric arranged forms, space and time, and are built upon crystallized conscious units of sound and light called morphogenetic fields or manifestation templates of the 12-tree grid. Using the instruction sets from morphogenetic fields, dimensions are composed of stationary points of the vibration of sound and light, which together form a fabric of tone and into which smaller morphogenetic fields are woven. From each fixed point of sound vibration and within each dimension of manifestation field, an electric current of consciousness emerges. There is a layer upon layer upon layer of morphogenetic fields and dimensional reality systems. A dimension is a full frequency band repeating sequences of waves flashing on and off, particle, antiparticle universe, and it's what we're existing in space with. So yeah, that layer upon layer upon layer, like that is what I've been really feeling. And like the frequency bands and then the like rearranging of geometric shape, light, sound, like that's something that's just been really strong, that's been coming through. I would say like the last maybe year or so, year or two, auric reconfiguration or like a reorg in the aura for a lot of like one-on-one sessions and collectively is what I've been feeling. So I just wanted to sort of end with that because there's so much more to dive into, and I think I will in the overflow, but I just wanted to kind of tune into that a little bit here on YouTube. All right, well, thank you. I just went to end, and the the audio recording ended at, the last 3 numbers were 222, so you may be seeing 222. And palm trees could be a sign for someone, something about palm trees. I'm also seeing a pool. like a swimming pool, but a pool table could be relevant for someone as well. Okay, thank you.